What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Um, been busy working on cabinets and things like that, keeping an eye out on the Dallas Cowboys, looking out for my man D2 Stew. We are over $2,500. We're halfway there for our goal. Early in June, we're going to be going down there and rebuilding, trying to do as much rebuilding of his house as we can. He has been shifted to a long-term facility to try and take care of his wounds before he gets sent down to the Anderson Clinic for some chemotherapy and stuff. Today was definitely a better day for him. Yesterday was the first day there, and they were just getting everything together and didn't quite have it all together and stuff. But he's taking it one day at a time, and our thoughts and prayers are definitely with Stuart, part of the Joe Boo Sports family, a guy who, there's so many of you guys out there that literally are like family, that are instrumental in what we do here, and it behooves me to try and make sure I try and take care of everybody, because again, we're like one big family. So some notes on rookie OTAs. We've got day number 2 in the books, and I don't know about you, but I'm excited about the guys that we have. We don't have, I always like to say, there's the sizzle players. A CeeDee Lamb is a sizzle. A cornerback is a sizzle. Then you have substance, which are the guys that don't make the headlines. The grunts, the defensive linemen, the offensive linemen, the tight ends. Those are guys that they don't get the love like the quarterback or the running back or the wide receivers. But without those guys don't get the glory. You understand what I'm saying? And the draft class that we have right now, they're substance. And so you're not going to get a lot of wow me moments out of a tackle. Not like you see, athletic, crazy move, because when training camp gets here, the highlights you're going to see are, CeeDee Lamb doing a 360 catch and stuff, or Diggs going through and snagging out, an interception and stuff. That's what you're going to focus on. You're not going to see the big hits on the offensive defensive line like that per se. But what's clear is Tyler Smith is the left guard. I believe that Tyler Smith, when they have the veterans come back with these guys, Tyler Smith will be the left guard. Now, eventually he'll take over for Tyron Smith. But right now, he has done everything at left guard. And here's what my thoughts are. Again, my thoughts are like what everybody has, an asshole. We all have one, okay? This is what I believe is the thought process for the Dallas Cowboys. When you look at the Cowboys' problems when it comes to crunch time and playoffs, it's the run. Stopping the run and running the football. Make no mistake about it. It wasn't Jimmy G who beat us. It was Deebo Samuels being able to run the hell out of the ball along with their running back. It was us not being able to stop them. And on the flip side, we couldn't run the football. We just couldn't. And when it gets to be playoffs, cold weather, end of the season, when guys are injured and nicked up and slowed down, that's when the running game becomes the most important thing. And unfortunately for the Cowboys, between Tyron Smith being hurt, between Zeke Elliott and the PCL, between Tony Pollard and the plantar fasciitis, and then the problems on the offensive line, we just couldn't do it. Now, you've been sold. Now here's the thing. This is the thing that drives me crazy. We've been sold that the Cowboys' offensive line has taken a major step back because we lost Connor Williams and Lyle Collins. I'm going to say, Lyle Collins, unless they moved him to guard, wasn't going to be a starter this year. Terrence Steele is younger, only under $1 million, as opposed to Lyle Collins being well over 10, and actually played better than Lyle Collins did. So to me, we didn't lose a starter there. We got a younger guy who doesn't have an injury history, doesn't have a I didn't show up for 7 drug test history, doesn't have a I showed up for training camp too heavy and I had a problem with my hips and missed the whole season history. I think that's an upgrade. And I don't know how long we've been talking about Connor Williams being replaced. We've said it year after year after year because he never held up to what we had for expectations. We got spoiled with Tyron Smith, with Zach Martin, with Travis Frederick. We thought immediately he was going to be one of those guys. He never was. He's not a bad guard, but he is the flag magnet. I believe that Tyler Smith will at least do as good as Connor Williams did. But I believe he'll be better. So from that standpoint, I think we're actually in better shape on the offensive line. Now, here's the thing that I think about. The Cowboys focusing in on saying our first pick has got to be an offensive lineman with some attitude that can take over for Tyron Smith. And maybe they work him in as the guy that, the swing guy. If Tyron goes out, he swings out to tackle. You bring in Connor McGovern, or maybe Josh Ball ends up being good enough that he can be the guy there. However, they're going to make sure that we have the best 5 guys out, even if we have to rotate and move out. Hell, Zach Martin can always move to tackle if we have to. Doesn't like to, but he can. Be that as it may, when you look at the Cowboys getting Jake Ferguson talked about his time in college, where you had to block on first down, and block on second down, and usually had to block on third down. For him, his forte is blocking. He is a good catcher. He can be a security blanket. He can chip and go out and catch the football if there's a lot of pressure and being outlet valve, but he can block. And this is where I believe the Cowboys are focusing in, or going to focus in, on making sure that they can be more balanced this year than they were last year. Unfortunately, we got into last year Tony Romoism. Unfortunately, Tony Romo's career, most of it, with the exception of maybe 2014, it was living by Tony Romo and dying by Tony Romo. Because we didn't have the running game going, that we either had Tony Romo getting us to glory or Tony Ono because we went to the well too much. And that's what happened to us last year. We got to the point where we weren't anywhere near balanced. We had to rely on Dak Prescott's arm because we couldn't get yardage running the football. And so getting a guy like Jake Ferguson, getting a guy who can pull at guard. Tyler Smith can really pull well at guard. He is very athletic in moving, and you must be that as a guard. That the Dallas Cowboys, this is my personal thoughts and what I think if I was Kellen Moore, I would look at doing. And I've said it a million times. And I know you young mother humpers that love the 3 wideouts and 4 wideouts and all that stuff. You know what? I'm old school. Give me 12 personnel. Give me an offensive line that can block lights out. Give me the opportunity to have 2 tight end sets that if they don't put 8 men in the box, I'm going to run down their damn throat. And if they put 8 men in the box, then guess what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw the ball out. I'm going to throw it to my man Jake Ferguson as an outlet there, as a security blanket to keep him balanced. I'm going to throw it to Dalton Schultz out there to keep him balanced. I'm going to throw it to CeeDee Lamb over there and stuff after they go ahead and get lulled to sleep with me running the football, me throwing to the tight ends. Now all of a sudden CeeDee Lamb, they forgot about it. I'm going deep for that guy for that amazing 360-degree catch for the touchdown. And when they forget about him, when they forget about Michael Gallup or James Washington or one of the other guys. We're just going to keep hitting them from place after place after place after place. So they don't know where this shit is coming from. And you're able to do that when you can run the football. It opens up everything, and that's 12 personnel. And it's all going to be predicated on two guys, Jake Ferguson and Tyler Smith. If those two guys can come in and do what I think they can do, this offense will rock and roll. Those two guys. And from what we've seen so far from rookie OTAs, the guys look pretty good. Now, again, we're not hitting. We're not going against veterans. But these guys in rookie OTAs are like sponges absorbing all of this information because so much is thrown at them. And it will be week after week, especially with the veterans. It's easy to get overwhelmed and to get lost. But so far, what we've seen from these guys has been really, really good. And that's just on the offense. On the defensive side, we've got some guys that are impressive. And Sam Williams is definitely one of those guys. But, you know, I'm getting kind of long-winded here. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. It's Saturday night. It's Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. That's not true. I got my wife upstairs. Thank God I got mine. Sam Williams is definitely opening eyes, and everybody right now is having a love fest with him. The speed that he has and the tenacity and the size. Typically, you don't have a guy who is as tall as he is, as heavy as he is, that can move like he does. And that's another one of those guys that, oh my God, that speed on the outside, I think will make us forget about Randy Gregory. I'm being 100% real there. That guy is going to be a damn beast. And I think that the Dallas Cowboys, in one of the preseason rankings, believe it or not, they actually have the Cowboys as the fourth rated defense in football. But I think that the Dallas Cowboys defensive front seven is going to be, if not the fastest, one of the fastest defensive fronts in football. They are going to be relentless. They're going to come after you, and that speed kills. I'm telling you, we have not seen a defense this young and this fast with the Dallas Cowboys since the 90s. And you can go back through. We've had some good defenses, but we haven't had any great defenses in a long time. And 2007 was pretty good. And 2007 was pretty good. But for the most part, we've had a couple of really good parts, like, you know, DeMarcus Ware and things, but then you're soft in the middle. We've had some good linebackers, but then you haven't had the defensive line to go with it. We've had a few good corners here and there, but you've had other weaknesses. This is probably the first time that you look at it and say, I know a lot of you won't look at Anthony Brown and think he's special or anything, and you won't look at Jordan Lewis as special or anything. But this defensive backfield, collectively, is probably the best one we've had since the mid-2000s. I'm being honest on there. You have decent guys that are in there. I mean, Diggs, I think, you know, it's amazing that the guy who has more interceptions than anybody this century in a season is crap in some people's minds, but go figure. But if this defensive front seven does the job like I think they're going to do, the secondary will feast. I think back to the Giants Super Bowl teams, the last two times, where they had that defensive front seven that was getting after the quarterback, especially Tom Brady. They wore Tom Brady out because Tom Brady can't stand pressure in his face. I think back to those defenses that they had that were great. There weren't any Hall of Famers in the secondary. Most of the guys they had in the secondary were just average at best. But it was that front seven that ended up making the quarterbacks make mistakes that made it easy for that secondary. And I'm betting that's how it's going to be with this front seven. I'm excited about the season. I can't wait. It's got me wanting to go to Oxnard for training camp this year just to get that early taste and be there with the Dallas Cowboys. So, with all that being said, I am going to go in here. I'm going to upload this video, and I am going to go spend some time with my wonderful wife of 19 years. And God willing, I'll be here tomorrow. And in the meantime, I always tell you guys, make sure you tell somebody that you love them tonight. Because you might not get a second chance to. And I mean that. And I love y'all. God willing, I'll see you in the morning. Have a great Saturday night and be safe out there. Peace.